welcome back to the podcast. This is Haley Sohn, nutritionist, weight loss expert. You are listening to Weight Loss Without Dieting, and I've got kind of a fun episode for you today. I think that will be fun. I find that the topic we're talking about today, this is something like people ask me about all the time, and not something I talk about that often. So hopefully you enjoy it and it brings you some clarity. And the topic for today is 5 foods that I don't eat as a nutritionist. And the reason I'm doing this episode isn't so that you can copy these 5 foods and never eat them again. It's so that you can go on your own journey of discovering foods that you like, that fuel you in a way that you like, that feel good for you, and really discover more about what's going on for your body and your metabolism. So these aren't necessarily like, this isn't going to be maybe the list that you expected. I'm not going down like, oh, I don't eat fast food and I don't eat sugar. This is not what we're talking about today. I'm talking about some kind of, generic, maybe considered healthy foods that I don't actually eat because I don't enjoy them. They don't work for me. I'm going to tell you why and give you some insight on figuring out what actually works for you. So, also, this is a walk and talk episode. So you are out on a walk with me right now. There's some background noise, like cars and birds, and I am 7.5 months pregnant. So I'm huffing and puffing, pushing my daughter in her stroller around the neighborhood right now. All right, without further ado, the first of the 5 foods that I don't eat is salad. And I say that with a few exceptions. When early in my nutritionist career, salad was one of those foods. It's healthy, it's got fiber, it's low in calories depending on the dressing. It's my go-to. And then I kind of realized when I started really this journey of figuring out what's actually working for my body, what foods do I actually like, that salad doesn't always feel that good for me. And just because it checks some, generic health boxes doesn't mean I like it, and it doesn't mean it's something that I'm going to eat. Now, ironically, when I'm pregnant, this is my second pregnancy, and both times I've really enjoyed fruit, which is another one that's not on this list, but something I don't really eat that much of. And salads. So I've been eating more salads than normal, but I'm also really particular about the kind of lettuce that's in the salad, the toppings that are on the salad. So if I am going to eat a salad, I don't just blanketly order salads everywhere I go. I'm a little bit more picky about what's in them, and how I'm feeling. I actually judge it by sometimes an iceberg salad sounds good to me. Sometimes it doesn't. Romaine lettuce, I rarely ever like in a salad. So it just the only reason I'm giving you those details is for you to figure out for yourself, is this something I actually like to eat? What I realize is a lot of times it just doesn't sit well in my stomach. It's hard to digest. It doesn't leave me feeling how I want to feel a lot of times. Sometimes I feel really hungry. Sometimes I feel overly full and kind of sick to my stomach. So for me, it's the right balance of ingredients, and it's the right timing. Like, I have to feel right. I don't like salads in winter. I absolutely hate it. But when it's like, really hot outside, or sometimes that sounds really good. So that's one of those ones that every time I tell people that, they're like, oh my God, you're a nutritionist, you don't eat salads? Yeah, no, not really. I would so much rather have a steak or a piece of salmon, than a salad. And you might find when you do this that you feel the same way, or that certain things feel a lot better, digest a lot better, give you a lot more energy, help you weigh what you want better than a salad. Okay, number 2. Raw vegetables. I found, and this kind of goes along with the salad, like a lot of raw vegetables, just too much. Way too much for my digestion. They don't feel good. I don't feel good. It feels like I ate a block of, what is that stuff? Oh my gosh. Like packing material. Styrofoam. Sometimes it feels like I ate like a block of styrofoam. Like, it's just like squeaky and like too bulky and so hard to digest. Rarely do I ever do raw vegetables. I also don't love the taste. Like, if it's raw vegetables, or I don't know, something equally as, well, I don't have a good example there. If it's raw or cooked, I'm always for the cooked. And I prefer them with some butter or some oil, salt and pepper. Like, that's way more delectable to me and feels a lot better to me than a raw vegetable, especially cruciferous vegetables. And as a female, you might find that as well. Cruciferous is broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, Brussels sprouts. All those fall in that category. And you might find, once you kind of like get into this, that they don't really sit well for you either. I've read that it's like a hormonal thing. They're kind of hard to break down and digest, and they can cause a little bit of hormonal imbalance. So just something to note for yourself. Eat some of those foods, see how they feel, see how you like them, and then decide if those are things that you want to eat, or if you'd really just rather mostly have your vegetables cooked. That's where I land. Okay, number 3 might be obvious, might not be, but any type of sweetened beverage, whether it's real sugar or artificially sweetened, I just don't care to drink sweet things. I used to do like the stevia drops and mix-ins. I never liked it. I kind of like tricked myself, told myself I liked it. But it's one of those things that it never tastes quite right. And it really just leaves me wanting something that actually has sugar in it. Like, it never left me feeling satisfied or like, yeah, my sweet tooth is really taken care of, ever. So I just don't mess around with it anymore. I don't even bother. If I want something sweet, I have something sweet, like actual food, not a beverage. I never bother with a sweetened beverage. A soda, an energy drink, a sweetened coffee, even like certain kombuchas that have artificial sweeteners in them. Hell no. I hate it. So that one's kind of like personal preference. Highly suggest that you figure out what that is for you, because some of these things we ingest just because other people say that they're great, or other people recommend them, or a health professional told us, like, oh yeah, if you drink soda, the best way to cut your cravings is to drink something that's artificially sweetened. Like anything like that. Examine your habits. What are you taking in? Do you actually like it? Do you like the reason that you're drinking it? So, so important. And I'll just kind of throw this in as a caveat. Actually, I have 2 clients right now who were soda drinkers and then kind of had switched to diet soda at some point, not necessarily like after they started working with me, but at some point on their own health journey, they had decided that diet soda was a better fit. And it also, I think both of them said that they liked the little hit of caffeine that it gave them, like a boost in their day. But as they started going through the process with me, they were realizing more and more, it was standing out more and more that they didn't love it as much as they thought they did. And the more they cut back on drinking it, the more when they did have one, they were like, wow, this tastes terrible. I actually really don't like this. And it really doesn't feel as good in my body as I always thought that it did. It doesn't give me what I'm wanting in that moment, which is, a break from my day, a little bit of stress relief, a little pick-me-up. So we, in both those situations, just talked about other ways they could get what they're looking for in that moment, why their tastes have changed. But you might find that there are things that you're doing, taking in on a regular basis, that you've just been doing out of habit because somebody suggested it or because you were trying to, make a healthy replacement. And you don't really like it that much when you think about it. So it's always helpful to put a question mark next to things, re-examine them, just pull them out. Do I like this? Is it working for me? Yes or no? And then you get to make that choice to move forward or not. And I will say this, if you ask yourself that question and you get a big fear response, no, don't take it away, that's a red flag. Doesn't mean that you have to take it away, but it does mean it's something that you need to look at. Okay, next on the list, smoothies and most juices, and I definitely have an asterisk by that one. But I think I've told my smoothie story on this podcast before. Certainly something I talk to my clients about a lot, kind of as an introduction into figuring out what's working for your body. But I'll just briefly recap it here. So many moons ago, early in my nutritionist days, I made these smoothies for myself that were healthy by most people's standards. Tons of vegetables and I don't know what, spinach, kale, banana, some fruit and proteins, God only knows what else, flaxseed, all kinds of stuff. And drink them every day, religiously. And every night I was really sick. And I'm not joking. My stomach was bloated out to there. I just felt so bad. I felt tired and drained and just cruddy. Not good. And it wasn't until I started dating my now husband, but we had just started dating, and every night he was like, you don't want to hang out because you're sick. I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, why are you sick? Why are you sick every night? I was like, he's like, that's not normal. I was like, oh, that's a really fair point. Never thought about it. Never never had that perspective. It really took somebody else calling it out to me for me to be like, oh yeah, this isn't normal. Why am I sick every night? And why am I telling myself, like, why am I not looking at this? Why am I okay with just being sick every night and like completely ignoring it? And so after that, I kind of started looking at, my first thought was like, it's gotta be something I'm eating. And for a while I kind of resisted, like, it's not the smoothie. But I did kind of start swapping out different ingredients here and there. And I eventually just dropped it all together because it was like the more I took out of it, the better I felt, the less sick I was. And so eventually I just stopped doing it. Now I do fatted fasting, which I talk about a lot here. And it feels so good for me. I'm never bloated. I'm never tired. I'm never sick to my stomach. I wear what I want. And I have a lot of energy and not many cravings, not a lot of hunger, certainly not a lot of like crazy hunger signals, very balanced. I don't crash at like 2 or 3 p.m. So it was really cutting out like one thing helped me so much, and I learned so much about my body and what actually works for me and my digestion. And that's not to say, like, I could even maybe try adding a smoothie back in here and there and see how it felt, because my digestion might have changed, at this point. But I'm really in a good place with what I'm doing right now, that I've just not felt the need to do that. But it's something, like, my point with that is anything that you cut out, you can always come back to and re-examine it and say, does this work now? Because our digestion does change over time, like our hormones do, like our metabolism does. It all can shift. Your tastes can change. Your body can, digest things differently, and it could suddenly start working again. So it's not to say that I'll never do it again. I just haven't for about, 6 years, and I've felt amazing since then. And juices, I do not do store-bought pre-juiced juices for a couple of reasons. Most of them are not organic. Kind of freaks me out to drink something juice that isn't free of pesticides and herbicides. Like, those are toxins that are meant to kill things, and then we're ingesting them in like highly concentrated doses combined with a juice that's going to go like directly into our cells. Like, that freaks me out. And pre-juiced juices tend to just be heavy fruit. So, it's like apples and pineapple and like fruit, and then a little bit of something to make it look green. And I don't do fruit juices. They don't make me feel good. They don't give me energy. It's like a sugar crash. I feel like crap. I just feel like it's not doing anything for me that I can't get elsewhere. The caveat with juice is I do juice at home, but I do things like from my garden that I grew. I know that they're clean, they're organic, it's super fresh, and I just make a little one. Like, I'll juice a cucumber and a carrot, and it'll be like just like a little shot, and that's plenty for me. So I will do that, but store-bought, even from like a juice shop, I will rarely, something I rarely do. And then number 5, this one I kind of threw in to appease some people who would want to see something like not necessarily healthy on this list, and that is birthday cake. I'm not a big cake person. I like cookies. I like some other desserts, but man, if I'm at a party or a birthday party and there's birthday cake, I'm having a glass of wine. Like, I'm skipping the cake and the dessert altogether. I'd rather have a glass of wine and like cheese and crackers than birthday cake any day of the week. I can't think of any birthday cake that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so good. Just not my thing. But that's like personal preference. And leading up until doing this journey, I thought I liked cake. Or I would certainly always get it, get a piece if I was at a birthday party. Because it's a birthday party. Everybody else is doing it. It's a special occasion. It's birthday cake. Like all those things that run through our head and influence our decision to eat something, they all seemed like good reasons until I really looked at it and was like, oh yeah, I don't really like birthday cake that much. There might be another type of dessert I would be like, heck yeah, I'm having that. Or I'm having like a couple bites. But birthday cake, not one of them. All right, y'all, that's my list. And I have my friendly reminder that I offer complimentary weight loss consultations during which I will diagnose your type of weight loss resistance. Everyone I've ever worked with has one of three. So I've identified essentially 3 types of weight loss resistance. Everyone who's struggling with their weight has one of those. Some of them have multiple. And what knowing that information does is it gives you power to figure out how you're going to move forward and start losing weight. A lot of times weight loss, we're shooting in the dark. Are we going to try the shot? Are we going to try the latest fad diet? Are we going to take the pill our doctor recommended? Like, we don't really know. Having information about your specific body and what is keeping you stuck at your weight is power. That will help you actually start losing weight. So that's a free consult. It's devoted to you, and you're going to walk away with some really valuable information. So I will put the link for that in the show notes. It's super easy to book. And I look forward to seeing you on your consult. All right. See you on the next episode. Bye.